Whitney Short, rock star, attorney, my favorite attorney. Don't tell my other attorney clients that.
Yeah, no.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about a particular interesting subject and see if we can make it interesting. About, I'm not selling websites, right? I'm selling an outcome here. And the importance of making sure that we understand, like, hey, yes, okay, I happen to be in the design and development business of WordPress websites primarily. I'm really selling an outcome, a vision, an ability to market that website, something that's going to help my clients get more business, achieve the right success, the KPIs that are important to them, and make more money, right? What do you think about that?
I think that's exactly what you're doing. And I don't think that if you were doing anything else, I would want to work with you. And I think that a lot of what you're doing is missing from the profession, because a lot of people want to put people and their businesses in some sort of standard template, right? And they don't really want to listen to the client. But at the same time, I think you listen to the client based on my personal experience, but you have so much valuable experience and input that you take what I want and just make it better.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not stroking your ego. I'm just telling you
what it
is.
It's a great testimonial.
I'm just telling you how it works.
Thank you for that, because early in my career, I've said this so many times, I was given advice by people that sell coaching and whatever like that, to novices generally. They say, just do websites for attorneys or doctors or realtors or whomever. And I never wanted to do that. I always say I'm industry agnostic. I like taking a general set of skills and applying them in different ways. It keeps what I do exciting. I've done websites for every imaginable client you could think of, right, in my career. And to me, that's a plus. And to me, I may not specialize in this particular thing, but I bring lots of value to these situations. Like, be surprised, I bring e-commerce experience to your site. It's not an e-commerce site. I bring different perspectives, and I'm happy that you see that as well. Just the idea of churning out the same template for clients sounds terrible. Not good for me, not good for the client. Maybe it would be good for me from a time perspective, right? There's always I find myself having to explain the time that goes into these projects a lot. I've been talking about that on podcasts a lot. It's like, you understand what you're asking me to do here? This is not a 5-hour job. I wish it was. I'd be sipping a cocktail in the Bahamas right now if that was the case. So I do spend more time. I do whatever it takes in order to get the design right. And that's a tough thing too, right? Because it's not accounting. It's not either black or white. It's, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of gray there.
There's a lot of gray. Do you like what I present? I do, right? What if you don't like it?
Right.
So it's tough. The design thing's tough. But once we hash that out, you end up with a custom site built for you, doesn't look like every other attorney's website in the world. I think there's value to that. And the fun part is like the marketing piece, right? What are you going to do with the website? I hope the idea is that we have a foundation, we have a place to send our clients. This is who we are, this is what we do. And then have the confidence in order to turn on the paid marketing piece, which I think is the most critical. I really do. In any business.
Yeah.
Like, we need the right people to call us. We need to tell them who we are very quickly. One of the great things about having this space is that we can test stuff, right? We're testing stuff in the other room a few minutes ago. And we're going to see if it works. And guess what? If it doesn't work, we're going to pivot. We're going to do something else. So having, I think, willing to put in the effort is something that is a dying thing, I feel. I don't know. Everywhere I go, people are trying to do things this fast way.
Yes.
Is that true? You feel that as well?
Absolutely.
Everywhere I go. How can I make this?
How quickly can... And to be fair, there is something to be said for that, but you can't rush excellence.
You cannot.
And so you can get better at being more efficient about it.
Yes, agreed.
But you can't rush it.
Agreed. And on the subject of speed, I have a lovely client, happens to be the founder of Arthroscopy, brilliant man. He said on an episode once, he said, how fast you do something is an indicator of how good you are at it, right? I've not been hired by clients because they told me that my timeline was too fast compared to other people they're talking to.
Right.
I'd say to them, don't hold me responsible for those people's problems. That's not my fault.
Right.
Okay, that's not my fault. I've got the right people wearing the right hats over here that we can execute stuff quickly, but that doesn't mean that it's fast. And a lot of time goes into these things. So It's about the outcome. It's about, in my view, I'm at a point in my life, I keep saying, I'm pushing 40. If I don't do it now, when the hell am I going to do it? You know what I mean? If I'm not going to bring everything I can now, when am I going to do it? And it requires a lot of energy to do what I do, to see it through, keep pushing. Thank God we've got a whole bunch of design and development projects happening at one time. We're juggling time with different teammates, a dozen or so of us. I have to be able to bring the energy, because if you hire me, you're spending good money in order to get an outcome and according to the timeline in which I have presented to you, right? Another big problem. Creatives, okay? People that are creative and in design oftentimes aren't business people.
Right.
No disrespect. It's just, I don't know, right brain, left brain, whatever. And we've been talking about the issue of, like, if you get hired and you don't fully understand what you're taking on, the timeline could be terribly inflated, makes you look bad to your client, and harms their ability to utilize this product that they could have got somewhere else faster, right? Potentially. So lots of fun things happening in the design space and what we do here. But at the end of the day, it's not just a website. This is who you are. This is your representation to countless people that encounter you, right? And once you have that, it's like turn on the marketing dollars, and then it really becomes interesting. Then you've got hundreds of people potentially a day coming and seeing you, and you're in front of them saying, here's what I have to offer. Are you interested? I love that part of the business.
Right. And it kind of comes back to avoiding that cookie cutter website, because I want that when you turn on that marketing piece, I want it to actually showcase who I am. Because if you're doing the exact same thing for every single client, that's not them, that's you. That's you doing that.
That's true.
But once we get that website set up to where it's a reflection of me and my partner and our business, once you execute that marketing piece, now you've set it up exactly how, you and I have discussed, that makes the most sense with your expertise. And now we're off to the races.
We're off to the races. And how wonderful to be able to execute content, you, your partner, that it couldn't be more on brand if we tried. It's you.
Right.
We're not creating these ridiculous, let's just say static images only and hoping that people are going to reach out to what I refer to as nameless, faceless organization. Right. You're putting yourself forward. You've got plenty of other things to do. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I do.
You've got other things that
yes.
The important piece of all of this is that, first of all, we can share a vision, or otherwise we wouldn't be working together.
Right.
But you got to be able to come in here and execute quickly and leave. Because if I told you, hey, you're going to have to spend, 2-3 days at our office, you're going to say,
absolutely not.
Are you insane? That's
Absolutely
never going to happen.
Right.
But can you spend an hour with me?
Right.
Once every few weeks? Yeah, we can, somehow work that out.
Right. And I think that's telltale of you, of recognizing the limitations of your clients. You don't have time, and we don't have time to have this be this 2-day ordeal.
We collectively do not have time for this to be a 2-day ordeal. Now, in the background, the beautiful part is we're going to record all this stuff, and it's going to magically get edited and uploaded and done everything that needs to be done. But that's my problem to hash out, not yours.
No, I'm done when I leave, Alex.
You're done when you leave, and then you see some great stuff online, right? So, yeah, okay. So yes, if I was to say to someone watching this, look for people that have defined processes and have the right team with them. Ask questions before blindly hiring. Marketing, using air quotes here, can oftentimes be a very significant percentage of the business's revenues going to it, right? Significant. We're not talking about a few $100s here. So, vet the right people, make sure you ask the right questions, and see the vision, so to speak, till the end.
But also allow when you're trying to figure this out, you have to have people that understand that you have to pivot when something doesn't work.
Oh.
And I think that's great, because you have people that are so set in their ways that this is going to work, and we're going to just try to force this to work. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think you explained it best. If, let's try this. If it doesn't work, let's pivot. And I think that's so important.
This is not a billboard that you have to wait 60 days in order to change. Oh, we made a mistake. The billboard doesn't work.
Right.
Right? Got to wait a whole bunch until the digital ones, of course, you can change faster. But my point, we have to be open-minded, because the reality is there's so many. It's like a soup, right? Many, many ingredients going into this thing. Is it the video content? Is it the ad copy? Is it the landing page? Is there something functioning with the form that's wrong? Is the tracking set up well?
We just hope it's not me.
Are we asking the right questions? Are we
Right.
seeing it through to the end? There's a lot of steps in all of this, right? So yeah, make sure you have vetted professionals. And look, I've said this literally 1 million times. Here's like, again, this space is an unlicensed, unregulated, Wild West. This is not the legal field with credentials and bar and this and that and the other.
Right.
It's just not. And frankly, one of the biggest banes of the industry, right? I believe, right? I believe that, I'm not saying there isn't wonderful freelancers in the world, very talented. They're everywhere. There's so many talented people in the world. But unfortunately, there's so many people running around being the do-all of all things. What good is that?
Master of none. Yes.
Just stop being the jack of all trades. Just do a couple of things really well. And if you can't do it, just tell your client, you know what's so funny? They're worried their client's not going to like it. They will respect you more.
100%.
If you ask me, you want a drone video of your office, just random thing. Ask me if you want a drone video.
Do I want a drone?
I mean, do you ask me for a drone video?
Can I get a drone video of my office?
Listen, I think that's wonderful. I got a great guy that does this kind of thing. Call him.
Right.
Okay.
It's not me.
It's not me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not me. It doesn't make any sense. I can't be all things to all people. I say to people, I joke, I mean, kind of sometimes. I'm like, should we come cook for you as well? Should we?
Do you want me to do some surgery for you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have a tooth I need to cut out?
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Stay with what you have.
Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Stay in your lane.
Thank you for spending time with me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I loved it. You are fantastic.
Oh, only because you make me look that way.